By a show of hands, how many of you, when you got up this morning, within the very first hour, you had connected with someone else or communicated with someone else? Maybe it was a conversation over breakfast with a family member. Perhaps it was an email that you sent out, a text message, social media. Thank you. Thank you for raising your hands and having me know that I'm normal like all of you as well. You see, I became really fascinated with the world of communications 20 over years ago now. I'm an engineer by training, as mentioned, but I was so captured by the evolving techniques of communicating that I decided to set that all aside and find a career in the field of in the field of communications. You know, there are different terminologies and traditional methods of communication. Some of these you're probably very familiar with. Advertising, there's PR, promotions, and on and on. But I decided I wanted to do something on the cutting edge. Perhaps something that was in its infancy. It could possibly work, it may fail. I wanted to try something different. And when I couldn't find something, I decided maybe it was time for me to start up my own business. The term experiential marketing didn't come about until maybe 10, 15 years ago. So for about 10 years, I was doing things where there wasn't a real definition for it. So what is experiential marketing then? Well, to put it very simply, experiential marketing is a means and a way in which a brand makes a friend. So let's think back through how you've made your friends. Perhaps it was a mutual friend who brought you guys together and said, "Hey, Paul, I think you should meet Peter. Both of you have so much in common. I think you'll be great kakis." I mean, all the time you guys are looking for the best chicken rice around Singapore and you would queue half an hour to try it. I think you guys would connect and get along just fine. Maybe it was a bunch of you who decided, "Hey, let's go down to the rugby finals and cheer our team on. You know, it's an important match, it's the finals." And you go down as a group of friends, and you're sitting around people that you didn't really know, but they're cheering the same team on. And in the midst of all that excitement, nail-biting moments, friendships were built. There was common ground, and there was commonality in what you were interested in. And the friendships continued to grow. You spent more time together, you got to know them, and you realize, hey, actually, emotionally, intellectually, we kind of get along. I can see this person being my BFF, as they call it today. And you kind of develop that relationship, and you start trusting that person. Through thick times, to difficult times, and the very best of times, you knew your friendship would last. I had a very interesting experience making a friend with an 18-month-old girl. Now that's kind of unique. That's kind of strange in a way. But my wife and I decided once that we were going to foster a child. You see, we were told that she was in need, and we decided that we'll step up to help her in the time of need. We didn't know who she was. We didn't know her background. All we knew that she needed a home for a period of time, and she needed someone to care for her. We've never done it before in her life. I still remember the first day she came to our home. The social worker carried her. It was late at night, so she was already asleep. They brought her over and laid her down on the bed and handed us a bag of diapers, milk bottles, and told us to take care of her. I looked at her and I said, what's possibly going through in her mind and in her whole being? 18 months old, taken away from her family. And then we found out we were actually the third home she was placed in within a week. What sort of emotions were going through her? What kind of feelings? What kind of pain? What kind of confusion? Was there anger in her? I don't know. But certainly, I was worried and concerned about what it would be like when she woke up in the morning to find once again that she was in a strange place and with strange people around her. The next morning came and I was having my breakfast and I heard a loud cry. I looked up and I saw this little girl who was maybe about 5 meters away from me, and I immediately got out of my seat, wanted to move towards her and told her everything's all right. But she cried even louder, whole body trembling in fear, not knowing what was actually happening. It was a painful process. And I asked myself, how am I going to help her? How am I going to connect with someone who is so different, who have no idea who she was? Because without that connection, without building that relationship, how were we going to be able to build the confidence in her that she had a hope and future? So for the next couple of weeks, that was kind of the safety distance, 5 meters or so. She wouldn't allow me to get any closer. She would cry and scream. I didn't even know if she was understanding anything that I said. But we took the time, we took the effort. We spent considerable amount of time, 5 meters away, just trying to communicate with her. In fact, most of the time, the communications was non-verbal. It was just looking at her, showing her that we cared for her. Time broke down the barriers. Probably at some moment in time, she realized that we were real. She realized we were not going to abandon her. She realized that she trusted us. She realized that we would be there for her. And the friendship developed. And eventually, we were able to spend a lot better times with her. Great smiling moments, and eventually, we were happy to see her reunited with her family. But the relationship had gone so deep that we wanted to continue to connect with her, and she very much so as well. And so to today, she's already in P3, we continue to keep that communication going. Experiential marketing, it's about a brand connecting with your heart, connecting with your mind, and wanting to be your friend for the longest period of time. I had the privilege of working with several global brands who are sponsors of the Olympic Games when the Youth Olympic Games was held in Singapore. Like all brands, they want to leverage on their sponsorship. They want to maximize their return on investment. One of these brands was P&G. P&G decided that they needed to do something different. They dug deep to figure out who they really were. They wanted to know who their consumers were, and they wanted to understand what the whole Olympic Games truly was about. Was it really just about winning? Or was there more to it than that? The importance here was finding the sweet spot in which the brand, the consumer, and the Olympic experience all connected. A most brilliant and wonderful campaign was created for this event. And in fact, it was so good that it was continued year after year at the various Olympic Games around the world. I'm about to show you a clip that was produced for the last Winter Olympics just last year, and you have a flavor of what it's all about.
Давай пошли. Ой, осторожнее. Bin ein. Nochmal, Schätzchen. Here we go. I know, it's cold. Nice shot, buddy.
P&G, proud sponsor of moms.
Who would have thought of thanking Mom at the Olympic Games? But just think about it. Aren't they the most instrumental people behind the successes of many of the gold medalists at the top events? Lots of sacrifices that moms have given through the years in order to see their son or daughter compete at that level. In fact, at the Youth Olympic Games, together with P&G, we flew in moms who couldn't afford to ever see their child perform or compete at an international level, so that they could spend that special week with the child in Singapore. Experiential marketing is about connecting with the heart, the mind, and to last for the longest period of time. But how do we then define what's success in the area of experiential marketing? I believe that it's important enough that we should strip away the strategic thinking, the beautiful creatives, the wonderful imageries, the technology that we use, all that fluff, all that froth, and look and determine what's the core and what's the foundation that you build it on. Because at the end of the day, for it to be truly successful, for it to last for the longest period of time, for the friendships to keep going on and on and on, we need to find authenticity in all that we do. We have to be real. We have to be sincere. We have to talk from our hearts. It is too easy and too common in which we want to create the best first impressions, but it falls flat through times. That's very human nature. We spend lots of time creating impressions. We want to do the very best in front of others, but we fail to figure out whether that's really from within us. P&G, my foster daughter, two extremes, it may seem, but both worked because at the end of the day, there was authenticity. There was a realness, if you may call it. There was something which was just there that connected deeply. When it's all said and done, what do we have left? We need to have a sincere heart, we need to be real, and we need to be authentic. Thank you very much.